And now, just for you, YK World.
Welcome to YK World, a podcast about the goop between music, art, and technology, told through the lens of YK Records and the Nashville music scene. I'm your host, Michael Eads. You know, that tagline was always kind of a work in progress, but today's episode really exemplifies the goop between music and technology. Today, I want to talk about lost music. Not like unreleased B-sides or unreleased albums, but music that has lost its identifying information. Here in 2025, we live in a world where most of the music you want to listen to always has some identifying context around it. You go on a streaming site and everything is very clearly labeled. Ampwall and Bandcamp, same thing. You will never just randomly hear a song without the artist, track title, and album being associated with it. Even if you turned on the radio and heard something new, you can likely just open an app on your phone, and that will tell you everything you need to know about it. Or, barring that, just go to the radio station's website to find that info. But not that long ago, that was not the case. In that emerging internet era of 1999 to 2010-ish, there was a lot of media available on the internet that was either mislabeled or not labeled at all. Napster let people clone giant collections of music, often without any identifying information outside of a file name that may have just been a best guess. Who among us hasn't downloaded Best New Weezer Song.mp3 only to find out later it was just the Wheatus song, Teenage Dirtbag? That is to say, the word metadata was not in the zeitgeist, and frankly, still may not be. Over the years, this kind of mislabeled and unlabeled music has become known as lost wave, a genre name and the name for a community of people that enjoy digging for more information about that kind of music. Most famously, there's a song affectionately referred to as, quote, the most mysterious song on the internet. It was recorded off of a German radio station in the mid-1980s and uploaded to the internet in 2007, sparking an investigation to find the source for 17 years. It wasn't until 2024 that the community managed to figure out who it was, a band called Fex performing their song Subways of Your Mind. In 2019, curious music fan Andy Herman uploaded the file downfall.mp3 to a forum called What's That Song? In hopes of identifying a mysterious song he had bopping around since around 2008. The Lost Wave community took up the challenge and began scouring archives and databases for a match. In 2024, after some intense API scouring, they discovered the song was by a band called Fair Verona, one of the very first bands of Beth Cameron, who you hopefully know from the YK Records roster as Forget Cassettes and Black Bra. Similarly, in 2021, a Spokane, Washington resident named Michaela Alden uploaded a song to YouTube she had found on a mix CD from 2006, previously ripped directly from MySpace. Her upload description said, "Please help me identify this band, 2000s alt rock." The Lost Wave community snatched up the challenge and began investigating. In June of 2025, after 4 years of searching, the community discovered a track with relevant lyrics and an exact match runtime from one Alex Caress, whom you should know from the YK roster as Little Bandit. Both of these lost songs and their discoveries have very compelling stories behind them. It is wild that this happened to someone that I know, and even wilder that it happened to two people that I know. And it's downright incomprehensible that they both have released records via YK. Oh, and they were both in a band together at one time. Ponychase. I'm just speechless about it all. It is an unbelievable occurrence. So today, I chat with Beth Cameron and Alex Caress about their experiences making music decades ago and then having it rediscovered and greatly appreciated by a whole new generation. It's no surprise that both of them are very eloquent and insightful about their experiences, primarily about how it feels to have a multi-generational talk with yourself and the art you've been making. Alex had a great piece on WPLN, Nashville's public radio, about his experience. That is linked in the show notes. You should go listen to it. Beth had a very long podcast episode about this on a show called But Her Lyrics that goes into great detail with everyone involved chatting about it. If you like this combo that you're about to hear, you should definitely go check that combo out. Much more detail. All of that's linked in the show notes. This chat with Alex and Beth is so good, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Before we dive in, it might be helpful to hear both of the songs in question. Downfall of a Well-Known Actress for Beth, and Don't Get Over Me for Alex. I questioned if I should include them here at the top of the show because the specifics of the song don't actually matter as much as the experience that was had. So with that in mind, I'm not going to include them at the top. I'm going to include them at the end of the show. You can choose to listen to them or not. You can also click through in the show notes at any time to hear them whenever you want. Okay, enough preamble. Here's my chat with Alex and Beth. The reason that I wanted you to come together here is because you're both on YK Records and you both have had this very unique and bizarre and exhilarating experience of having someone find music that they could not identify, and then they spent a very long time tracking it down to you. Which has got to feel insane. So I basically just want to talk to you both about like how that manifested and what it felt like, and if you have had a similar experience yourself. So
I do want to say first that I didn't know that Beth had gone through this, but the sleuths are the ones who told me about Beth.
Really?
They were like, yeah, I saw it on the Discord channel. They were like, Alex was in a band with someone else who, and they just like figured that all out.
So they were like, oh yeah, you were in a band in Ponychase with this other person that's on this Lost Wave forum.
Right.
Amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, I texted Beth about it.
Mm-hmm.
So have you both read your fandom.com articles? Because you're both now on lostwaves-finest.fandom.com.
No.
Did you know this?
No.
What is it?
I'll put it in the chat. So there's a Lost Wave wiki, basically, that documents all of the songs that they have researched and found, and you're both on there. So,
wow.
Don't Get Over Me is on there, renamed from what it was originally called. Downfall of a Well-Known Actress is on there. I don't think you should read it right now because you both lived it, but it's fascinating that this has occurred.
Oh, wow. They have like my whole career here. They even have my like tiny little BGV credit on Justin Townes Earl.
Oh, wow.
This is thorough. Okay.
Oh, these people are quite thorough. Yes. So, Alex, since you had this happen to you most recently, we're going to start with you. Talk us through how this came into your realm. Like, we'll get into all the background of what they actually did, but how did you find out that this was happening?
I just had a message request on Instagram one morning and just like woke up to that and happened to look at it. And it was just from it seemed like a very anonymous Instagram profile with very little followers and not really following anybody. And it just said like, hey, there's this thing that we've been looking for a long time. First of all, is this you? And it was a link to a YouTube video that had my song on it. And then and then the second link was the skeleton of my old MySpace page.
Whoa.
And so I confirmed it with them, and then they put me in touch with the OP, as they would call it. This girl, Michaela, had made a mix CD in like 2006 or 2007 that had my song on it, and she made the mix and then forgot about it until she went back to like clean out some things at her parents' house in I think 2019, and she knew every other song on the CD except for my song, but she loved it and didn't know, like there was no metadata on the CD. There was nothing, it didn't say anything about it. So she put it on YouTube And that's when the Lost Wave community
Was
got a
she a
hold of it.
part of Lost Wave already? No. So she just
No.
like found a song on a mix CD that she had made 13 years ago and was like, what is this? And then Lost Wave was like, hey, this is our jam. We're on it.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
I think that, and I think that's what the one guy, one of the Lost Wave people said, is that like, once someone posts a video that says like, I need help finding this artist, then they're there.
Wow, they're the Batman of lost audio. Okay,
Yeah.
we're there. That's incredible. So they spent from 2019 to
I think she put up her YouTube video in 2021.
okay.
So
from 2021 to
4 years.
2025, 4 years of this community scouring for the author of this unknown song.
yes.
And then eventually they find you and they send you the DM and you verify that it's you, and presumably there's a lot of celebration.
Yeah, there was. I went through a bunch of different channels. So like once I talked to Michaela, she was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to like get you verified through the moderators." So I had to.
Oh.
I've never been on Discord before, but I had to like join Discord and talk to them that way, because it seems like that's how a lot of them communicate. So I had to send them the file that I had of the song for them to verify it, to make sure that like the metadata was different.
And you had it?
I happened to have a couple of years ago, my parents sent me a thumb drive of all of these songs that they had on their computer. And they were like cleaning out their computer, and they're like, "Oh, here's all of like the songs that you made when you were 18. So somehow I was able to dig that out. I didn't know where it was, and my husband was like, "I think I know where that is." And
Amazing.
it was some like catch-all bowl in the house, and so I pulled it up and I sent it to them, and I joined Discord anonymously, and they were like, "We can tell them that it's you, or you can just like creep." And I was like, "I think I'll creep." I didn't know what
Sure.
to expect, because there's like thousands of people on this thing, and so we planned it to do it like right at midnight on, I don't know when I think it was like July 2nd or something like that. And so they revealed that it had been verified, and there was like, they were all celebrating, and then they all have these usernames that like show which song they are really into from the community. So like there are people in this chat that are called like #1 WTOTL fan,
Okay.
which is We Tie Ourselves to Lies, which is the name of which is the name that they gave my song
Right.
on their
They
own.
didn't know anything about it, so they had to give it a
Right.
title.
Right. So there are all these people in the chat who, their usernames contain that they're like #1 fan of this song. So the way that they revealed to me was the Michaela, the original girl, was like, "Hey, #1 WTOTL fan, what would you say if you knew that Alex was in this chat right now?" And he was like, "Oh, I'd probably say that how much the song is meant to me," and it was crazy. And so then she was like, "Well, he is," and so I revealed myself.
That's awesome.
And then after that, I got in touch with like, I've been in this industry for a while. I was like, this is a story that is like a really cool story. I don't know. It's just like, it was like, if I wasn't involved in this, I would think this was really fascinating.
For sure.
So I got in touch with you, and I like sent it out to a bunch of journalist friends too. And so that's how I ended up having a story on Nashville Public Radio.
Yeah. And possibly further. I don't know if it's gone further than that yet, but they say
Not
it might.
yet. They were shopping it for national. So
Well, I mean, it's on YK World now, so it's
exactly.
it's everywhere. Yeah. All right. I love this. I have lots of questions for you about this, but I want to get Beth's similar background about how she came to become aware that a Lost Wave forum had not only been researching her music, but found it. How did that go down, Beth?
So same. I also received a message on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I ignored it for a while because I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't click on links. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I asked Shauna about it, and she was like, oh yeah, this is a thing. She had actually been like working on it, I guess, with them. They had, I guess, reached out to her first.
Oh, I see.
And she hadn't said anything to Leah or I about it yet. Shauna was more like the point person, because that's how they found the song, was through her and her
How did they find it
musical
through
links. Gosh, it's so convoluted.
So you're in Fair Verona. This is what era? Like
1999 is
Okay.
when that song was recorded.
And was
And-
it ever officially released? It had to be, right?
No.
What?
They found it. I'm pretty sure Last FM was how they ended up solving it, but it was also like metadata from like MySpace, and but we were even broken up by MySpace, like before MySpace was a thing.
Right. How did they get it in the first place? So like in Alex's case, this person somehow takes it off MySpace. I don't remember if MySpace had a download option. I assume it did.
Yeah, it did.
So this person downloads it and then puts it on a mix CD, forgets about the mix CD, finds it later, and then it ends up on YouTube. In your case, the song was not on MySpace, was never released. How did it ever find its way out?
I think someone posted it found it somewhere on the internet and posted it on Discord. I don't know. Someone found it somewhere out there.
Was this like a Napster situation where like you would just
Possibly.
go like download someone's hard drive and it had?
Right, but there was no metadata. The only thing they could see was that the MP3 was called Downfall. So the band was known as Downfall, like while they in Lost Wave Community.
Yeah.
And the song was called Save Me Now. That's how I think they referred to it.
Is that a lyric in the song?
It is.
Okay.
That's repeated a lot.
Same with Alex's situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sensible way to name a song.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. And then they thought they found the band. They thought it was this band called Fascination. And they were looking at all these bands called Downfall, trying to like figure out if the band was called Downfall. And then it was something with our Archive 2000 Fair Verona website that they were able to, I guess, from what is the archived
Archive.org.
Wayback or
Wayback Machine on Archive.org.
Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They were able to kind of get some more data on the band itself or something. And then it is so convoluted,
Yeah.
Michael. I am a really horrible person to be telling this story.
Well, there is a whole episode, right, with you and
Yes.
Leah and Shauna and
Yes.
someone from the Lost Wave community
Yes.
talking about it,
There
right?
are- yes. And I actually Googled it before. There's a few even just like independent YouTube videos of them talking about how this all happened.
Interesting. And Alex,
Yeah.
same with you too, right? There's a podcast with you talking to the person who initially uploaded it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of like an interview that I had with Michaela.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
This will all be in the show notes for this episode. You all can find it in the show notes.
So Shauna did a podcast at some point a few years ago where they asked her about her musical history, and she mentioned Fair Verona. And so they were able to track her down that way. Yeah, it was wild.
That is wild.
When we did this interview with them, when they finally found us, when I replied to the Instagram message after I talked to Shauna, they were so excited. I couldn't believe. I didn't understand what was happening. I was like, what is Lost Wave?
Yeah.
Why are you so excited about my song that came out?
I mean,
25
25 years prior,
yeah,
right?
like-
This happened to you in 2024. Is that right?
Yes.
And that song
yeah,
you just said was recorded in 1999.
yeah.
So there's
and I think they'd been looking for it for over a year or something.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, anyone that is in the Lost Wave community that's listening to this, kudos to you all for whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because this is
And
crazy.
they really do their research too. And they like had theories about what the song was about and the lyrics.
Were they right?
They like, no, not at all. But the theories
That's
are
okay.
amazing, and it really speaks to what humans can conjure up with their imagination.
Also, songs are about whatever you want them to be about. They're not about the author's intent. Once it's out there, author's intent is over.
Yeah.
Alex, was that true for you as well? Like did they have theories about what the song was about and like background about the song?
I didn't see any theories about what it was about. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what it's about, but
Don't Get Over Me, but that's not what they called it.
we tie ourselves to lies.
Yeah.
No, there were multiple lyric guesses that were wrong, and they would put the whole like, okay, so there are like tons. I'm guessing like dozens of YouTube videos of different people posting it.
Yeah,
and under all of them are like different guesses of what the lyrics, what they think the lyrics might be. That was crazy.
As a person that has had to transcribe lyrics for artists before, it's very hard.
And I feel like for me, it's like, oh, it's obvious that it's this, but it's not.
No, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, there was some theory about, because the song is called The Downfall of a Well-Known Actress, and they had a theory that they even like figured out who the actress was that I was speaking about, and that she had died in a car crash at, sometime around when the song was written. And yeah, it was wild. They were really obsessed with one line, damn them all 153, and they thought there was like a religious reference, or it was like a bunch of months put together, and that meant the date of like when this car crash happened. I was flattered beyond belief that anyone would go to such lengths to care.
That rules. That totally rules.
There was a whole tangent that I found in their research about my song where, because Michaela's from Washington and from the Spokane area, they thought that it must be, because no one knew it, it must be like an independent band from Washington. So they went to like whatever the Spokane public radio station is, and like combed through their archives from all of those years to try to find it.
Insane. I mean, but you said eventually the WPLN piece talks about, I think you say somewhere in there that they found you by scouring the MySpace like lyrics, right? Like there were lyrics in MySpace, or maybe the song title. They searched for every lyric,
like every line. Yeah, they searched like every line in the song.
God, that's
on
exhaustive.
MySpace.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then they finally searched "Don't Get Over Me," and they found, and it, like I guess the data says the song length. So they saw that it was the same length.
Really remarkable. I mean, very astute of them to try all that and then get a hit. I wonder how many people do either of you know how many? Beth, you mentioned that they had approached several other bands and they were kind of going down some wrong avenues till they got to Shauna and you. But do either of you know how many other people they had approached and they were like, is this you? This you? Like, is it dozens? Is it, how much volume were they like, they felt confident? Do we have any idea?
For us, I don't think it was very many, because I think they kept hitting a lot of dead ends just because of the era in which our music, we were just right on that cusp of digitizing music.
Yeah.
So there was just not a lot out there.
Did you have fairverona.com?
Yes.
I'm on the Wayback Machine now. I'm just unbelievably curious.
I saw a few different guesses. I mean, it was probably, I'd say a handful, but I know that they reached out to multiple artists and bands in the local Spokane community asking if they like knew who this artist was. Not necessarily saying it was them, but like asking all these people who were around back then if they knew it, which they couldn't be. I mean, as far as like the continental US, you couldn't be more wrong for the region.
Yeah, it's true. They were a little off.
Can I read this real quick? I just found the Reddit for the solved Lost Wave. So it was Aaron and Sveta who found it. And Sveta says Aaron used an API search for Last.fm to generate 8,000 results for Downfall on Last.fm. I went through and researched loads of it, created a tool to isolate certain results, and then finally got to Fair Verona's The Downfall of a Well-Known Actress. I thought the vocalist sounded very similar on their Bandcamp page. Unfortunately, the song was not available anywhere online, but eventually I found the archived version from their 2000 site.
Wow.
Sveta
8,000. Was Sveta involved?
Yes, they were the one who verified my song.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to meet Sveta.
So that means, so Last.fm, when you play something to Last.fm, it's called scrobbling. They came up with that verb. So when you scrobble to Last.fm, that means someone was playing Fair Verona music and it was scrobbling out to Last.fm. It's getting stored in those databases. That's a pretty brilliant way to find music that otherwise you just wouldn't run across, because it's like anybody that had this iTunes plugin that was sending the metadata to Last.fm created a copy, even if it was never uploaded anywhere to digital distribution, which in your case you were before digital distribution, or just online anywhere. Because even looking at the Fair Verona website in 2000, that song is not on there.
Oh, really?
Not in the first capture of the site.
Okay. So I was also told that MySpace tried to do like a massive migration at some point and lost all the data. Do you know anything about this?
I think that it was less interesting than that, and that I think they just stopped paying some bills. And so all of the files that were stored prior to 2019 were deleted. And so they have all the metadata because that's all stored in a database, but the actual files that contain the audio were wiped out. And
people weren't notified, like, to log on to your MySpace before we delete everything.
Right, because MySpace just didn't pay their bills. And so things got deleted.
So crazy.
I feel like most people had abandoned.
Yes.
I don't know where they would have sent those notifications to me.
Yeah.
You might be right, though, Beth. Like, looking at a article on The Guardian, it says the company is blaming a faulty server migration for the mass deletion.
Well, that's convenient.
I mean, Tom probably just fucked it up.
Tom, pay your bills.
I always had heard that it was a billing thing, but maybe it was a migration. But man, there was so much music on MySpace. You would think mid-migration, you would realize, oh, this is deleting things. Let's maybe stop this from running and maybe delete 10% or 20% of things, not 100% of things.
Yeah.
MySpace was such a, I don't know, in a lot of ways it was the Wild West. And, it was like what Spotify or what people think that it should be, where it's like you put in your influences and then someone searches what they like and it pulls up, but it was before the algorithm was the way it is,
Right.
So it could bring up, a huge artist and then a tiny artist, and it didn't have anything to do with like who spent the most money on.
Yeah. It's like the actual democratization of music distribution, where like you and big famous artists are literally using the same tools. You're not getting any bump from any special code or from a 2% investment from Sony Music and Warner Group. Like, it's literally everybody just like in the same player getting the same thing. It's kind of awesome.
The moderator who actually participated in the interview with WPLN said that this era that Beth and I were a part of is the most difficult to find because of it's like the dawn of the age of digital music, but before there's any real traceable record of it.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating. So
now look at us.
Look at us now.
Just archiving everything all the time.
Right.
So I want to talk to you about what the recording process of these songs was like at that time. So we've been talking about how the songs were discovered, but I want to go even further back, way back to the beginning, and talk about like how the songs came to exist in the first place. So again, Alex, we'll start with you. That song was recorded along with 13 others in 2005 or 2004. Is that correct?
2004, 2005.
Okay.
Yes.
Where's your head at? Where's your life at? What does this look like, 2004?
So I was part of the graduating class of 2004. So I graduated high school in 2004.
Adorable, by the way.
And decided to take a year off before college. And, you know, all of my friends actually went to college. So I was just...
Did you know where you wanted to go at that point? Or were you like, I got to figure some shit out. Like, I'm not ready for more school. I don't even know where I want to go. I'm going to pause this school thing.
Well, there was some disappointment there. I got into Berkeley, but I didn't get the scholarship that I wanted. And it was like prohibitively expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Alex, I didn't know that. I didn't know you got into Berkeley. That's amazing.
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
It's no small feat. I mean, it's truly a hard thing to do.
Fuck Berkeley.
Yeah, but also
Right. Then I'd be writing those like Berkeley songs with like...
Then you'd be a Berkeley person. And we all know those people. Kidding. No shade.
Some are good.
I mean, I feel like a very close second to Berkeley people is like the Belmont neo soul people. So like, so I wasn't far off. So I was living in Massachusetts with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I had come down to Nashville in the spring of 2004 to record with my family band with my siblings. And
your siblings were here already.
No. We all came down together.
Oh.
To record.
Oh, fascinating.
That's a whole
other thing.
That's a whole
Lost Wave. We'll work on that later.
A long story, yes.
Okay.
When you want to hear.
Basically we were like, there was this music industry guy who saw a live show of us somewhere and decided to like do this all cost paid trip to Nashville and like paid for time at like Sound Emporium and all this stuff for us to record. It was crazy. So one of the people that worked on it had gone to Belmont and had nothing but great things to say about it. And so they had a really great music program and a great music business program. And it was a Christian school, so my parents were into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't necessarily the right time financially for anybody.
Sure.
So I ended up staying at home, and you know, my friends, I was an underachiever. They were all in the, you know, top of the class, went to really great.
You did get into Berkeley. Let's not like.
Okay. So, but you know, I got into Berkeley, but then I'm working at a grocery store deli and not really doing much of anything. And my brother, who's 8 years older than me, also moved home at the time and was living with me and my parents. And so he had recording software and like, you know, the basic tools that you need to make music. And since we were in that family band, we had a drum set in this. So we had this like basically upstairs living area all to ourselves, and that's where we had band practice and all. And so there was a drum set there, and you know, Josh, my brother, had his guitars there, and we had I don't know. Jordan wasn't there all the. She was in college. She wasn't there all the time. So, but there happened to be a bass around. And I had my keyboards and stuff. So like just the thing that all of the pieces were there to make music. And so
you mentioned before we started recording that you had some software that I've actually never heard of before. What were you recording into?
It was called Nuendo.
Beth, are you familiar? Okay, yes, that was an affirmative. I'm not a musician, so it's fine that I've never heard of it. Were you familiar with it from being in the family band, or was this all just like you're learning all this software stuff too?
I was learning on the fly. I mean, I mostly just like sat with it and learned as I went, and just, you know, sort of like trial and error, figuring stuff out. And like if my brother happened to be around, I'd ask him like, how do I do this or whatever. But I just sort of like got just, I would just sit with it and
Yeah.
play around. And yeah, I mean, that's how it happened. And, I was just like sad, but motivated. And, I was such a goody two shoes coming out of high school that I wasn't even like self-medicating about it. So I was just like, sad and finding like a healthy outlet for it.
Yeah, I mean, 14 songs. 14 songs is a lot of songs.
I've never ever. I do not consider myself a prolific songwriter. So yeah, that is the most that I've ever written at one time, ever.
Alex, I was going to ask, like, when you look back on that time in your life, how do you feel about like your creative output during that time?
I feel good about it now. I mean, I feel like you in my 20s, I feel like I was probably very dismissive of it, but have come to appreciate that, like, if I met an 18-year-old now who was doing that, I would be pretty impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we're our harshest critics, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably true for a lot of people. It's interesting to think about when you're just a few years out from a thing that you did, especially something like that, that's very like, it sounds like you were mostly alone and in your feels, as one would be at 18 or 19, that you're just being really harsh about it. But I mean, you can, people who are listening to this podcast, they can now go listen to all 14 songs. They're streaming everywhere. They're on Bandcamp and Ampwall and all the stuff. These are not like super amateur songs. Like, I'm sure there's parts of it that you would improve and change now, but like, you had some chops, clearly.
I mean, there's things that if I was going to go in, I would cut some, like, I think I talked to you before we put it out. I was like, I would cut some of these songs and I would, whatever. And
Sure.
What you said, Michael, was you can't, I mean, you just have to release it as what it was. You can't bring your, 2025 music industry mind into this. You just have to.
Well, and that stems from me from like, honestly, I know I feel that I feel strongly in that conviction that thing is what it is. It's a piece of time. It is a relic of the era. It is reflective of who you were at the time. But also, I have heard people just rattle on about the Beach Boys' Smile for longer. I mean, for so much time. And the Beach Boys' Smile was finished 45 years after it was started. That's not the same thing. Like, you can't put 40 years between when you started something and when you quote unquote finished it and say it's the same thing. It's a different thing. And I think that's unfair. Now, it might be close and it might be like the best facsimile you're ever going to get, but there is there's an expiration date. After a while, you can't go back to things that you started on and still be the same person anymore. So it's really fascinating to hear 2004 Alex songs and kind of have that context now to be able to listen to Little Bandit songs and to listen to these new demos that you sent me last week and like contextualize them around young Alex and see how things have changed and evolved and still see some things that you are very good at. Like, your emotive ability with your voice was there at the beginning.
And so much of what I know and have learned about like making music and songwriting and recording and the process that's where it started.
Yeah.
I think about, what I was doing. Like, I still use the same tricks that I figured out then in what I do now when I'm recording on my own. So it's like, it's truly a profound experience in a lot of ways. Just like you said, I mean, you're not the same person. And so like, I'm able to have this very strange conversation with myself with the, that younger version of me, and there's and give him, then there's some self love and healing of an inner child that's come from this, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think you said the WPLN thing. You told me this on the phone too. You were like, it's profound.
Yeah.
I am talking to myself from 20 years ago, someone who was like, I hope these songs connect. They are an outlet for me to connect with someone. Like, you took the time to record them, but you also took the time to put them on MySpace to be like, I hope that this finds someone. And it totally did, like right away, because that mix CD was made in 2006. So it's not like it took a while. It just took a while for you to find out about it.
Right.
But it actually connected pretty quick.
And that's,
that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I get emotional every time, like, I start to think about it, but that, damn it.
Yeah.
This isn't a gotcha podcast.
But that kid would be so happy to know that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really touches on that. What does success even mean? What is success?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think as someone, we're all have seen the industry for so long. Beth and both of you have seen the industry way more than I have. Like, you've been way more immersed in it than I have. I've always been sort of like on the indie, like, circles from the outside staring in. And it is so much about numbers and metrics. And there's always something very mathematical connected to what is success. How many things did you sell? How many radio stations picked up your song? How many plays are there on your MySpace player? How many Spotify playlists are you on? Like, how many people follow you on Instagram? How many people follow you on X? Like, everything is a metric, is a literal number to look at how good you are doing. And all of it is completely devoid of emotion.
Well, I've never gotten any joy from any of that. The things that have made me the most happy are the things that have not made me any money.
Yeah.
And, and that's what I have to remember.
Right. And like, when you're 18, you don't even have like a semblance of an idea of that. Like, you don't know what the goals are. Like, maybe if you're 18 now, you're like, I want 1 million plays. I want 1 million followers. But that doesn't actually equate to anything.
Right. I mean, to me at the time, putting something out was putting it on MySpace.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, that was pretty advanced, honestly.
I think probably the greatest thing that came out of our Lost Wave was the fact that it put Leah and Shauna and I in the same room together for the first time in 10 years.
Well, that's like, okay, that's a transition I want to take. Take me back to 98, 99. You're in a band called Fair Verona. Like, what are you experiencing writing and recording that song? Because you were in a lot of bands. There's a whole other podcast about early Beth.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, a legendary record producer, Eddie Kramer of Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix fame, went to NTSU to do some sort of like recording seminar. And he wanted a band to record to be the product while he was doing the seminar, and somehow we were chosen. I don't remember if that was like a contest or.
But you weren't in college.
I was not in college. None of us were in college. We were touring our asses off, being in an indie band we had a development deal, which, if you don't know what a development deal was in the late 90s, that was when you got signed to essentially maybe a subsidiary of a major or an independent label, and they worked with you with, songwriting, stage presence, touring, put you out there, and then would get you signed to a major label and reap the benefits of that.
It was when labels were investing in artists.
Yes. It was that weird time of indie starting to crack in, like break into the major scene, but it was also uncool to be on a major label because you were a sellout if you did that.
Right.
So anyway, we were chosen, and so we spent like 2 or 3 days at MTSU with Eddie Kramer, and that is how that song was recorded, I'm pretty sure. And from that experience, our label that we were signed to decided we were going to make a record with Eddie Kramer. So we did like a whole record with him that was never released.
Wow.
So yeah.
Is it
so
still
that
unreleased?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause there is a Fair Verona Bandcamp that has a bunch of stuff.
Right, because when we were breaking up, and we talk about this on the Lost Wave interview, because we broke up because we essentially found out that we had signed a really bad deal where we were not going to have any rights to our publishing, our masters, or anything. And so we, at that time, felt the only thing that we could do would be to break up. Again, this was during that time where it was being an indie label going to a major, it was a weird time. So we felt that that was the only thing to do to protect our careers was to break up. So when we did that, we recorded our entire catalog, every song we had in our label's studio over like the course of like 2 or 3 days. And that is what is on Bandcamp, I'm pretty sure, or some of it at least.
Wild. And so the Eddie Kramer recording, is that the one that eventually leaked in some strange way?
Yes.
And that's what Lost Wave kind of found somehow. We still don't know that part.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was your feel? Like Alex is talking about this profound feeling, and like I completely understand this conversation happening between your own self-generational being. How did you feel that this song and this tumultuous and like hard thing, like you had broken up, this obviously there was shit tons of work involved with being in Fair Verona and the development deal. You're saying the best thing that came from that was getting back in the room with your bandmates. Had you not really conversed that much since the breakup? I imagine it was kind of hard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't think we were honestly really on speaking terms when we broke up. It was really difficult. Some of us wanted the breakup more than others. You know, tensions were really high. Yeah. You know, we were essentially a family at that point. We spent all of our time together. Yeah. So, yeah, we all kind of went our separate ways and separate lives. And Shauna moved to Baltimore. Leah and I stayed in Nashville and like relatively were in touch. And I think Lost Wave, that experience really helped us kind of talk about that experience and how I'm going to say traumatic, like it was
fair,
a really, really hard time. And I think too, when you're that young, but this is something that we talked about. One, I think I had 2 major revelations from this Lost Wave experience. One, how little support we had from adults to help us navigate this very important decision that we made in our lives. That was a very bad decision.
Right. Well, you probably had a lot of adults that did not want to support you because they wanted you to sign a bad deal, right?
Yes. Yeah. And like our parent, you know, we didn't really have the parental relationships that would have, anyway. So yeah, it was that revelation, and how when you're that young, you think you're going to have so many opportunities. And you're going to meet so many people and have so many experiences. And time goes by so fast that you look back and you're like, oh, holy shit, that was like I was like this. It's that I was so close. I was this close, man, you know?
Right. Well, I think it worked out pretty well for the both of you. I mean,
totally. Yes.
You know?
I can't imagine what my life would have been like had I gone through with that. I would be probably some awful one-hit has-been, you know? You remember that band Kitty? Anybody?
Oh, yeah. I do.
Yes,
I do remember
Probably
that band.
exactly how he would have been marketed.
Yeah.
That is like probably the career trajectory that Fair Verona would have taken.
Poor
So,
kitty. They probably signed some bad contracts.
yes, I'm sure they did.
More
Yeah.
than likely.
I mean, I feel like there's a common thread there of like, there's this like what you see as this, omnipotent hand that comes down and plucks you, and you think that this is going to be, and you think at that age, like, well, if this is happening now,
Yeah.
what's going to happen later? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which, and that's how it felt coming down to Nashville to like,
Yeah,
this,
I'm sure.
this man in a really nice camper.
Hmm.
But you did eventually come to Nashville. Like you
Yeah.
did record this whole record. You didn't put all of it on MySpace, right? I'm assuming 5.
No, there were like 4 songs, and I think that I like cycled through which 4 were up. I think that
Right. And then that fall, did you come to Belmont?
fall of 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like now I know that like I know what success means to me, and I feel like I've had a very fulfilling music career that has like ticked a lot of boxes that people would
For sure.
kill for, and so like, to see success as this one thing would be silly.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's that teenage myopic view of success,
Well, begs an
yeah.
interesting question. What do both of you define success as now? Because you both still make music now. What is, like, you're still writing songs. You both, literally, we talked about this before we recorded. You both sent me demos in the last week. Like, we're going to put that stuff out. What's your view of success now?
Alex.
It's a hard one. It's a really hard one.
I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways I've already experienced it, and you don't know, it's like that, they say that you don't know that the good old days are happening until they're over.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I'm not saying that it's over, but I'm saying that like, I feel like I've experienced success in so many ways, that I'm so grateful for. And I feel like I have an ability now to just take pleasure in the process of making music. There's something something that happens to me that's very unhealthy when I start to think about the industry, and I just, it doesn't make me happy, and I don't need it. The thing that makes me happy is like expressing myself and, making music and even sharing it with people. I love to like send demos to people. It's, those are the things that make me feel successful, is being proud of something that I make.
Absolutely.
Can I have some of that, Alex?
You don't feel that way?
I think I'm still trying to answer that question. And I think the only thing that I could say right now is just that I'm happy to be alive. And I'm happy to even still have the ability to be creative and write songs. And that is all that brings me happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answers. So to keep it on a light note on the way out as we wrap this up.
Has this been sad?
No. But there at the end, I want you to feel happy about the things that you have done and defining success. You know what I mean? Like, I think success is a nebulous thing to define, and that we have the internet has done us a gigantic disservice by introducing metrics to literally everything we do. It's ruining creativity. And that, like, number of likes on a post or views on a YouTube or follows on a streaming platform do nothing but make it harder to enjoy the process of creating. And that goes true for anything. It's not about just being a musician. It's about being a visual artist. It's about being someone that makes crafts. It's all of the arts, all of it. The internet has just done a giant disservice by surfacing those metrics. It's awful. And you should both feel like extremely good that this Lost Wave thing happened. It's amazing that these group of people found your music and they were like, let's do this and devote.
I mean,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
And they're and they're children, and they're from, across the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's insane.
Yeah. Truly, it's very tender about it, for sure.
It's
I think
amazing.
That is what art is about.
Mm-hmm.
That is what art is about, for sure.
Yeah. And I do want to say, Beth, that like I have always I look up to you and your success, and I always have.
Alex, I love you. Thank you. That's very kind.
I mean, this will be in the intro, but you two were in a band together. People should remember that and should check out that record because it's very good.
An incredible band. And that record, that Ponychase record, is one of the things I'm most proud of.
It's so good.
Absolutely, yes.
It will be linked in the show notes. People got to check it out. Girl Friday Records will sell you an LP, and it's a very good one.
Ponychase should have been a huge band.
Yeah.
But that's true of Little Bandit. That's true of Black Bra. That's true of Forget Cassettes. Like, that's true of YK Records. Like, there's a lot of good to go around.
Thank you for what you do, Michael, because...
Well, thank you, because I was fishing. I mean, that's really why I threw that in there at the end.
No, I mean...
That's why we're here.
I mean, I feel like you're the epitome of, like, of what we're talking about, of, like, this... making things available and finding success for people in the way that you do. That isn't traditional, and it's not.
Alex,
it's not about numbers.
I take compliments in the worst way possible. So I'm going to deflect in a huge way. But I will say I am on the opposite end of creation from what you two do. Like, I am not a musician. I have been in 2 bands, and it was abysmal. It was so bad. One of them was intentionally bad. It was a punk band that was intentionally bad, and it was still bad. So that's tough. But I'm on the other end of that creative thing where, like, I get so much satisfaction from hearing these things and from pushing them on someone else, like what the Lost Wave community is doing in a way, and being like, this song, even though it doesn't have 1 million plays, even though it's not on 1,000 radio stations, whatever metrics you want to apply to it, this song is awesome. This song is like, it is going to grab you emotionally. It's going to do something to you, good or bad. And I get such satisfaction out of that. And I try my best to spread the word about it. And I hope that it's satisfactory to the people who are putting the music out through me. But it is really gratifying to, like, hear these songs and be like, wow, I am like a stop along the path to, like, helping other people hear this stuff.
But you have no idea how refreshing it is to have someone who is championing the things that you make without any motive.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. And
it's like we were talking about, Michael, before we started the podcast today. And, I think there is such a backlash to metrics now that we're seeing bigger artists want to come back to DIY,
For sure.
And even possibly if it seems contrived, there is such like a want and a need for people to find their communities. And that is exactly what we have at YK. Yeah. It's our community. And I mean, that's all that we need, really.
It was a total accident. And I agree with you. I think that is what a label should be doing, is like helping to foster a community, connecting bands together, like maybe people that you wouldn't necessarily play with. Like we're going to put out the new Jessica Brienne record, and I posted about this Alex Gress thing on the YK Instagram. Jessica DM'd me, was like, I love Alex so much. He is the greatest songwriter. I have adored him for so long. And I was like, oh shit, they know each other.
We were in a a class at Belmont my freshman year in 2005. Yeah.
What?
Incredible.
See, that's amazing.
It is truly amazing. And you two should absolutely play a show together. We'll try and make that happen. Yeah. So community is totally the thing. I agree. 100% agree. I have one silly question for you all, if I can ask you a silly question. Have you ever been on the opposite end of the Lost Wave thing where you had a song where you didn't know who did it and you tried to figure out who it was? The answer might be no. But there was a time where we just downloaded songs and had no clue what was coming at us.
I was never big on downloading songs. I feel like my little brother was very into that, Napster, and like constantly had that shit going on. I'm trying to think more in the context of like when people would make me mix CDs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure there is a lot of that. And also just like picking up, I know there have been, so many bands from like the mid to late 90s where I used to have this thing, when I was in high school where I would just go to Tower and go to the indie section and see if I could figure out what bands had females in them. And I would just buy anything.
Yeah.
Bands put out, one record and never heard from again, and trying to research them now and figure out what was that record, where did they go, that kind of stuff for sure.
Going to the listening station at one of those
The
places.
Camelot music.
Right, and just like, what is this? And you're like, that's how you discovered music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely miss those times.
Oh, an adjacent thing to this conversation, I guess, would be that, but in a similar vein. So one of my best friends, Anne, who went to Wesleyan, she was like becoming a freshman right when this band was leaving Wesleyan, and I think they were like seniors when she was a freshman, or maybe had just graduated. I don't remember, but there was a band that she like put on a mix, like she would make me mixes, and then she sent me, and they were on it, and then she sent me their demo. It was this band called The Management, and it was their like original like college demo. And I shared it with like all of my friends at Belmont, and they all like, it became a thing in my like friend group at Belmont. And then come to, however many years later, those songs were on, it was the MGMT.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah. So
Amazing.
that was like,
Wait, really?
The Management became MGMT.
yeah, they were called
That's
The Management.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is fantastic for sure. I love the stories of random CDR making the rounds. I have two examples of exactly that same story where like I got a CDR that had just like that weird gold horrible front written in Sharpie on the front of it was Vampire Weekend. It was like, here, my friend made this. Check this out. And it got it before it was ever released. It was like, wow, it was pretty dang good. And it was good. And the same thing happened locally where somebody, I think it was Dennis Deck actually from How It Became the Bomb, was like, you got to hear this CD from the soundtrack to this movie being made in Hendersonville. And he gave me a CD of like 9 songs, and they were like sort of New Order-esque, but like less electronic. And it was just really like, I was enamored with it and like had never heard anything in Nashville sound like it. And it turned out that it was what would eventually become the Non-Commissioned Officers and the Make Out with Violence soundtrack, and Jordan Lenning, Eric Lenning, Adam Gold, Adam White, like Buddy Hewen, like all the people that were in Eureka Gold. Like, but it was a CDR that was just like, it had nothing on it. Like Dennis Deck was just like, these songs are good. And I listened to it obsessively, and then like maybe a year and a half or 2 years later found out what it was from, and that there was 35 more songs just like that. So
that's
and
crazy.
It's just from like people passing CDs around.
Yeah, how do we do that? How do we bring that back?
Yeah. I recently came across a cassette tape where Shooter Jennings and I had a band for a minute called the Star Project back in, this was probably the late 90s, I guess. And we recorded 2 songs together at Belmont. And just like, I made like a cassette for for like my boyfriend's birthday and gave it to him or something. And I found these songs and I was, holy shit, this is incredible. It's like electronic, but also like heavy. It was amazing. I'm sure those tracks are I'm sure they were probably recorded on Cubase or Nuendo and Cakewalk, maybe, who knows, nowhere to be found. But what a treat that maybe could be one day.
My brother said that he still has the hard drives that would have like is it the stems? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like all the original tracks and everything
Yeah.
from when I recorded it. But because of the way that like plugins worked,
Oh yeah.
and like none of those would translate because it was like something you would have to like pay for or have the like, so none of like any of the effects that were on it
So
wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I don't know if you would even want that. I was like, probably not. Let's just put it out like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you didn't do anything to it. Like it's a perfect relic of the era. Really happy about that. And if folks want to hear it, in the show notes, there's a link to check it out, streaming and digital download and CD. We made a short run of CDs. The packaging is absurd, but it's perfect.
You did a short run of CDs?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I want one.
the inside is so good.
How did I miss that? Okay.
And then how do people hear Downfall of a Well-Known Actress if they want to hear it?
Yeah, I
Can you?
still don't think it's on Bandcamp yet, so I need to figure that out.
Is it on the Lost Wave fandom wiki?
Yes,
It's
I
probably
believe
on
yes.
YouTube.
I think it's on YouTube now
on YouTube.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
You must have sent something to them to verify, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of original file.
yeah. I found the original like CD that we got from Eddie Kramer with like Eddie Kramer's signature on it or some autograph on it. Yeah, I don't know. So dumb.
Incredible. Well, may one of your songs be lost for the future as well.
Is that their tag, their mantra? Lost for the future?
Oh,
Because
wow.
it should be.
Yeah,
That was good, Michael.
I'll float it out there. To them.
Wow.
I really appreciate you all talking me through this. I think it's such an amazing story. Not only that two of the people that I know and respect and enjoy their songwriting had this happen to them, but they're like that they're on the label. Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Nashville.
Yeah. There will be a longer episode about early
Magnetic.
2000s at some point. Like there's something in the water then.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time.
Yes. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
And we
Michael.
don't have to hang up, but the podcast is over.
And stop.
For sure. All right. That was my chat with Alex and Beth. After we cut the show off, we remarked how nice it was just to hang out and chit-chat. I concur and would love to have both of them back without any sort of agenda. Let's just talk about anything. This show can be whatever we would like it to be. Huge thanks to them both for taking time to talk to me and be vulnerable and open about the experiences. It's really something to consider how it must feel to create music as a literal kid, let yourself be vulnerable as a kid, and then find out decades later that people connected with that vulnerability. I am so lucky to know them and to get to work with them and just live in a time where their music exists. Be sure to check out the show notes for more from both of them. And big thanks to the Lost Wave community, for which this story would not exist if it were not for their interest and persistence. Really incredible. That's it for this episode. Our music is by the one and only Mac Burris. Hit him up at Mac Burris on Instagram to get your own fun podcast score. Though, frankly, there's no way it's going to top this one. Pinnacle work. We're going to close out with both of the songs discussed in the episode. First, Don't Get Over Me from Alex Caress, and then Downfall of a Well-Known Actress from Fair Verona. You can get 13 more songs from Alex from this same record. I'm Always Here, 2005, out now via YK Records, linked in the show notes. For more Fair Verona, head to fairverona.bandcamp.com, but you won't find this particular song. You may just have to enjoy it from a burned mix CD forever. Thank you so much for listening. Tell a friend about us if you enjoy it. Email me, DM me. I have no stats here, so there is no way for me to know if anyone is listening unless you just reach out and let me hear from you. That's the best thing to do. Take care of yourself. I'll talk at you later. Bye.
Scared like I always do, and I don't know where. Don't get over me, I won't get over you, and I don't know where. We tie ourselves to lies and hope they'll see us through, but we don't know them.
just beginning to hit me. I'm already 6 feet under. Your timing just kills me. It just killed me. There's a song somewhere inside of me. Damn them all 153. I can't protect them from myself. But who's gonna save me? Who's gonna save me now? This is a beautiful movie. We play it, and I'm gonna change it when I get it. This is a beautiful movie. We play it, and I'm gonna change it when I get it.
Do you feel like
we missed?
you got interesting stuff?
Oh, it was
and-
great. It was fantastic. It is wild that it happened to both of you.